North Leicester and who is from the Seismic Research Center at the University of the West Indies based in Trinidad and Tobago. By way of backdrop, I indicate that this morning, very early, I received a telephone call from Michelle Forbes of NEMO, indicating to me that there has been increased activity at Leicester of a different kind than what was called the swarming volcanic tectonic earthquakes, which we have had a couple of weeks ago, and then they subsided, then they start back and stop again. And that what we have had now this morning is a series of tremors of a qualitatively different kind than the seismic activity from hitherto, and that has a particular meaning. I spoke to Professor Robertson thereafter, and we had other conversations this morning, and we had them come to us here at the cabinet today, along with other relevant public officials, to brief us. And as a consequence, certain decisions have been taken. But to understand the decisions and the declarations which I'm required to make in accordance with the law of the land concerning the National Emergency Management Organization and with disasters, including volcanic disasters, that it is important first, having received the advice of the director of NEMO as required under the law, and having also been advised by Professor Robertson, which advice is very relevant and which the director of NEMO has adopted as her own and has advised me in those terms as presented by Professor Robertson. I think it's first of all very important for me to have Professor Robertson give the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines the benefit of his analysis and technical advice and recommendation as to how we proceed henceforth immediately with Leicester volcano. So, Professor Robertson Ritchie, the floor is yours. The people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines are listening to you.
It's been erupting quietly. This effusive eruption, as we call it, where material has been coming out of the vent in the southwestern crater floor and slowly building a dome. We've always said that there is always the option of that continuing for an indefinite period. There was the option of stopping, and there was also the possibility that it could go either fast or become explosive. Since then, we've had a certain kind of earthquakes related to that. And as everybody knows, on the 22nd, 23rd, 25th, we had a period of BT earthquakes that was slightly different. We said that were coming from deeper down and suggested that there's a fresh batch of magma trying to get to the surface. And then about a week or two after that, we had another VT swarm. And again, we told you that, it's just even so that was the case. So we're now into a period now that since early this morning, at about 3 o'clock, we got another change in seismicity. It changed significantly. The seismic station that was closest to the summit, the one that is right on the volcano, began to record what we call low-level seismic tremor. And tremor is a kind of activity that's associated with volcanoes, where it's essentially a continuous vibration of the ground. It's very slow level, so it's only recorded at stations, so people on the volcano wouldn't feel it. But since this morning, since about 3 o'clock, we have had three separate episodes of this tremor. The first one was from about 3 to 3:40. Then there was a break, and there was another one between 5:30 to 6:20. another break, and then from 8 to about 9 o'clock. So we've had 3, and then we had a 4th that started about 10:15. So we have what we call now tremor and what we call banded tremor happening in discrete bands. Now, tremor is usually a signal that is a continuous seismic signal that I said, and it's usually associated with the movement of magma to the surface. Now, we know magma that was coming out already. What this suggests is that more magma or fresh batch of magma is on its way to the surface. In addition to the tremor, we have recorded 3 long period earthquakes during the second. These were recorded during the second batch of tremor. And again, long period earthquakes from studying volcanoes, this volcano and other volcanoes elsewhere, they are also usually associated with the movement of magma. So all indications are that there's a fresh batch of magma that is trying to come through. The other thing that I noted this during the period since this morning, early this morning, is that whenever you have this period of tremor, we have had elevated and continuous period gas vented. So the amount of steam, the white puffs that you normally see as puffs, have been sustained during the periods of tremor from the summit. Again, that's another indication that the tremor is associated with a fresh batch of magma coming through. So our interpretation is that the volcano entered a heightened period of activity, and suggesting that fresh magma is near the surface or approaching the surface. Therefore, the possibility for activity to move to an explosive phase has increased significantly. While before we were always on the possibility, the indications are that the possibility has increased significantly based on the activity we're seeing. And the unfortunate thing in all of that is that given the current state of activity, given the data we have, we still can't say exactly when that would happen, but it certainly has, given the activity we have in, it's up the ante, and it's suggesting that it wants to get to the surface, and it possibly could get explosive. And that's the intention that we have in terms of the latest activity.
Such eruption is likely, and settled back down, and we don't have an explosive one at all. What is the earliest period, possibly, from the scientific data that you have, that can have an explosive eruption if one is coming?
Well, I was thinking anytime from now. And it's possible that things could pick up more, that you could have more clear seismic signals prior to an explosion. But given what we've seen, it's possible that it could happen in the next few hours, in a few days. That's possible.
So,
but as you said, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, as you said, it's also possible that you could be, each time the volcano has changed, it's given us a bit more signals. So it started by effusively erupting, and then you had signals that were indicating that it was doing that. Then it had some PT earthquake swarms, which suggested that something is trying to come in. And you had another PT swarm that tells you that it's trying to come in. And so it has this tremor that is associated with, it's really a lot of having to do with steam and movement of steam, which is probably driven magma. It's telling you that something is probably a little bit closer, that's really trying to get to the surface. Now, the possibility that stuff that's coming out has greater energy and more gas to be explosive is what makes it more likely for it to be explosive. But also the possibility is that it could, as you said, it could simply become quiet again, or it could just simply cause the dome to grow faster. But in terms of the time scales for that, it could range from a few hours to a few days.
And your recommendation to Michelle Forbes what?
Right. Yeah, that essentially our key recommendation is that your preparation should be finalized for possible evacuation within a few hours. With very little notice, you may need to move people because it has gone explosive. That's the key thing, that because we're not sure the time scales for that, it could be a few hours. You need to be at a state where you are ready to move out of harm's way. As I speak, in fact, I should tell you, the other period of bandit tremor has just started quite on time. So the bandit tremor has continued. So the pattern has continued. It hasn't changed at this present time.
Well, I would ask Michelle Forbes to speak to the issue, and then I will as Prime Minister, make a particular declaration.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. We have been in discussions here at Cabinet and with various agencies this morning regarding our readiness in the event that an evacuation order is given. So far, we have been preparing our emergency shelters for in the event that we need to evacuate persons. We are inactivated. We will be meeting the National Emergency Council at 2 p.m. this afternoon. I want to encourage persons, given the new information that Professor Robertson has just presented, we're at the stage where we can go into an explosive eruption at any time, be it a few hours, be it a few days. But we're at that heightened state where we're actually seeing activities now that indicate that we can actually go into an explosive eruption. Those communities over the Marathon River in particular, I want you to be ready in the event that you need to evacuate, get your things together. We have provided a list of emergency shelters over a week now. Have been going around for some time, and the areas that the communities will be going. So I want to encourage persons be ready. If you have your elderly persons in particular that you know you need to move ahead of time, or different families, to put those arrangements in place. So we're working with all the agencies of government and private sector to actually have it ensure that things are in place. So in the event that we go into an evacuation.
Fellow Vincentians at home and abroad, residents. The Section 31 of the National Emergency Disaster Management Act, Chapter 388 of the Revised Laws of Citizens empowers the Minister of Disaster Preparedness, states the Prime Minister, to make a declaration after consultation with the director of NEMO, which has been done. The declaration is that there is a substantial prospect that a disaster of a kind set out in column 1 of the schedule to the Act, disaster in disregard of volcanic eruption, that there's a substantial prospect of this disaster of a volcanic kind will strike within an applicable period, and the applicable period here is stage 3, which is a stage 3 alert, a disaster alert, which is prior to a stage 4, which a stage 4 would be an order for evacuation. There is no order for evacuation, but there is a declaration under Section 31 of the National Emergency and Disaster Management Act. It is a declaration that there's a substantial prospect that a disaster would strike. And therefore, Professor Robinson said, and this alert stays within the framework of the Orange Alert, We are making all the final preparations. We will follow the science. We will continue to take the advice of Professor Robertson and a team of scientists, and with Michelle Fobbs. And if the occasion arises within the next few hours or within the next few days, that it becomes necessary and desirable for an evacuation order to be issued, or then it will be issued. But this is the stage preparatory to, and the declaration is made within that context, within the framework of the law. Now, as the director of NEMO has said, that at 2 o'clock I will chair the National Emergency Management Organization Council meeting, which involves a wide cross-section of the stakeholders, including the members of cabinet. And the report will be given by the NEMO director, and their responsibilities assigned under the law to each particular stakeholder. All the details, I don't have to speak to those details. Now you will get more and more information as we go along. But I should indicate already this morning, I was in touch with the United States authorities, Southern Command, to mobilize assistance, because they have transportation arrangements, they have technical assistance of one kind or another. I have been in touch with the authorities in Venezuela. Those authorities have assets which can be utilized. I've been in touch with the authorities in Cuba, similarly with the regional security system. I've spoken to the Prime Minister of Barbados, the Prime Minister of St. Lucia. I didn't get the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda and the Prime Minister of Grenada. Those are important Prime Ministers for me to get in touch with, because each of those have given a commitment that in the case of an evacuation, those countries will be prepared to take Vincent for a particular period of time. Professor Robertson estimates that if there were to be a volcanic eruption, we may have a period of maybe 4 months or thereabouts in which we will have to be in a condition of evacuation. Hopefully it will be a shorter period, but that is his estimate given the extent of the material which is built up by the dome and what he sees from the science, from the seismic studies. I should point out that in the case of the personnel persons who will go to the countries in Barbados and St. Lucia, they would be required to be vaccinated. But certainly in the case of Barbados, St. Lucia, if you don't vaccinate them here, they will do that there. And we have also activated a contact which had been an offer which had been made to us by the cruise line. I wouldn't call the name of the cruise line yet, but one in which our people are very much involved, who would make available one or more cruise ships for old persons, in addition to those who will be put in our shelters, because we may have to evacuate numbers up to 20,000. And so we need a lot of space, and it will be quite a logistical exercise to move people and keep them. And they of Barbados that persons who will come on the cruise line would need also to be vaccinated, because obviously their ship, after the period, it would be used to take passengers, so they want their vessel to be sanitized in every way, and they want to protect their own business. I have assigned Camilo to link with the Minister of Tourism in Barbados. They know one another very well, and Mia Motley has assigned the Minister of Tourism in Barbados that when the head of the particular cruise line gets back to us within the next 40 minutes or thereabouts, and the logistical arrangements have to be put in place with any cruise ships coming over, and the Minister of Tourism in Barbados and the cruise lines operators, officials, they will finalize that. And in the case of movement of persons, for instance, to say Fuchsia will have to make the requisite transportational arrangements by sea or by air, or both. As a consequence of this declaration, events have overtaken us in respect of the reopening of the schools. Therefore, the schools will not be reopened on the 12th of April, Monday the 12th of April. And the schools, we will expect, as far as is practical, for online teaching and learning to continue within less than 2 weeks' time. The remainder of the devices will be here. I've been assured by the Director of Planning, Mr. Ricky Frederick, and Camilo, that they will be here for distribution. The Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, the Ministry of Social Development, the Ministry of Housing, the Ministry of Transport and Works, the Deputy Prime Minister are all very much engaged in this exercise, education and health, social development. So everyone has an important role to play. The Minister of State and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, she will be in touch along with the foreign governments on this particular matter. We want to say that we do not need the bank. We need to be calm. We need to be disciplined. We do not need to have any contentiousness. We don't need to have any confusion. If we are all calm and disciplined, fortified with our belief in Almighty God, and that His grace will see us through, that we are going to be fine. And we will rebuild this country as we rebuilt after 1979, if there was Camilla's just sent me a note here saying that the Chief Executive Officer of Royal Caribbean Cruise Line, Mr. Michael Davey, will have one vessel here tonight by 8 p.m. if we require. Capacity is 1,500 persons. The second one will come shortly there. So we the evacuation and the closing of persons. In any situation manner, we have to do it in the proper way. With respect to the frontline workers, we are making arrangements with guest houses and hotels to accommodate them. Some persons will naturally go into schools, and we are making all the preparation there. But the fewer persons we have going into schools, the better it would be. Because on cruise ship, for instance, you have no facilities, but clearly, because people are going to be wherever you go, you're going to be in a reasonably confined space, whether it's on a cruise ship or whether it's on a school, so that it is expected that we will take the first dose of the vaccine. It is important for us to do that, because we are in the midst of a pandemic, and we are in the midst of a situation of community spread. You notice we have been making the arrangements appropriate to all the circumstances, and with our friends who will be able to get through this matter, and with our own discipline and organization. In respect of the teachers, many of them are shelter managers and they operate with the shelters. Information will come to them through NEMO and through the Ministry of Education. There are details, there are lots of details, a multiplicity of details. The transportation arrangements, I have a whole book here on the volcano evacuation transportation, those who have to be transported by land or by sea. We may have to transport some by air, depending on if some of them overseas. But you will go overseas for a short period of time, obviously, and you'll return home. But how many will go? We don't actually know. Though Grenada had earlier said, and I spoke to the Chancellor of the university, that they would probably have a facility for about 1,800. We have to bear in mind that their school will restart at some time. So all those things have to be taken into account. Antigua had said that they have a facility which would take about 500 hotels. In St. Lucia, 250, 300 or thereabouts. So that in addition to our own shelter facilities here and what we may have on the cruise line, this is a massive exercise. Everything will go perfectly. We are going to expect that we are going to have challenges and hiccups, as in every aspect of life and living. But as you will notice, this morning I was given the information, and it's now just after midday, and we are where we are, that I can tell you about all of these arrangements, and you will hear more information. I want to have two persons speak additionally to give you an indication as to what will be done. A chief medical officer will have to say something on the health question, and also the Commissioner of Police in relation to security matters. So, Simone.
Thank you, PM. Good afternoon, everybody. So, as you're all aware, at this point, so this 21 days has community spread of COVID-19. That means services out there that we do not know of. And as we also know, we have asymptomatic spread in the majority of cases. Therefore, because a shelter is defined as a confined space where the risk of spread of a contagious disease such as COVID-19 is great, it is strongly recommended that everyone who will have to be in a shelter or have to be engaged in management of a shelter be vaccinated as a matter of urgency. Even with one dose, we all know that that allows for some level of immunity, and after the second dose, which we can get at an earlier date, you have a significant level of immunity which protects you from severe COVID and from the possibility of death and admission. At this time, it is extremely important that we understand the risk involved in gathering in a shelter. We have sufficient vaccines on hand. All of our clinics are open and ready to allow for vaccination and testing as necessary. And we really do urge everyone in Vincent and Grenadines, persons who are in the red zones, which will have to be evacuated if there is an evacuation order, and the persons they are coming to. So we're not just looking at evacuees, we are looking at where are they going to. Are they going to homes? Are those persons protected? So we really do urge that this takes place. As it is now, the entire health team, we have been activated for over a year now, and we're continuing to work. But we need this as a shared responsibility, and we're really asking everyone to take the advice and protect yourself and protect your loved ones in this situation.
I'm wondering if you can mention about the health facilities in the red zone, what we have in those facilities.
So in the Modern Medical and Diagnostic Center, the Smart Hospital in Georgetown, in the event of evacuation, those facilities will be closed. Health workers will not be there. They will move their services down to Military Memorial Hospital. So for example, we have dialysis at the Modern Medical and Diagnostic. Those services will be moved to Military Memorial Hospital, and we partner with our private sector colleagues to allow for the continuation of dialysis services. In terms of oncology services, chemotherapy services will be moved back to the Military Memorial Hospital, and we are currently engaged in ensuring that we can continue to provide these services. We are also being in contact with the BDF, the Barbados, where there is a field hospital. I was in communication with them up to this morning so that we can continue to offer the services available at the Smart Hospital in Georgetown, which is 25 beds, and the Modern Medical and Diagnostic Center emergency room at another site in the green zone. In terms of the Chateaubriand Smart Hospital, that will be closed, and those persons, those staff members there will be reassigned to other facilities in the green zones. What happens in a situation like this? All elective procedures will be suspended at the Military Memorial Hospital to allow for any increased admissions of any persons who are impacted by an explosive eruption. We will be anticipating persons coming in with respiratory symptoms, possibly burns, possibly broken bones, if persons insist on staying in the red zone when there's an explosive eruption. So the processes have started in terms of elective admissions being reduced or suspended, and reallocation of services for continuity of care.
Commissioner. Prime Minister, as Commissioner of Police, I am
evacuation committee. One aspect of the national disaster plan. From the police standpoint, we are in the position we put things in place to make sure that our jobs evacuation are effective and efficient. I have had several meetings with the divisional commanders, especially the persons in the red zone. We have identified the vulnerable persons, we have identified the persons with transportation, the private or public, and consultations go ahead with those persons. Most persons have indicated their willingness to assist. So we have identified the vulnerable persons and look at ways in which we can get them out of these areas as best as possible. And also in consultation with the regional security system, they are ready and willing to assist whenever we are called upon. Latest conversation was done about an hour ago with Captain Shaw and the director of the regional security system. We are also in consultation with other members of the regional security system bilaterally. They are also willing to assist. The committee we have met, we have set up standard operation procedures, and just this morning we were fine-tuning the evacuation aspect, because I was telling the senior officers this morning, we are concentrating on the red zone, but we also have to look at evacuation going out of, transportation going out of Kingston. Let's say there's an eruption during the day, in terms of how persons would evacuate and different points that we'll have to meet. So this morning we're just fine-tuning that. So we also have to look at the security aspect of things, because in most cases, police officers, they play a pivotal role in the management of the evacuation facilities, or the places where the persons are evacuated to. So that is something that we have in mind. We know that volcano is very dynamic, and we cannot cater for every eventuality, but as best as possible, we are doing that. We are also in consultation with the Ministry of Agriculture in terms of evacuation of animals and the places that will be kept, the security of property of the persons who evacuate from the area. Of course, we will have to do some additional patrols to make sure that persons' fears are allayed, that they feel they would have more reason, or they would feel more inclined to want to leave the disaster or the red zone. So from this police standpoint, we are as ready as possible, and we will be prepared to operate as soon as we are called upon to do that.
Vincent, ladies and gentlemen, I want to just, before I take questions, to reiterate that a declaration has been made by me in respect of a disaster alert. Disaster alert means that there is a substantial prospect of a disaster of a volcanic kind to strike within a period of time, hours, days, or weeks, and that this stage 3 disaster alert takes place within the frame of the orange alert, and it is the stage which immediately precedes an order for evacuation. This is not an order for evacuation.
I want to re-emphasize that. We're putting matters in place, and again, do not panic. Be disciplined, be orderly. We will get this right together, and we will build back stronger, and we will lift our country evermore. We have faith in Almighty God and our capacity to do the right thing. Morning by morning, the mercies we see. All that we need, thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness. Any questions?
With schools having to remain closed, is it anticipated that they will remain closed for the remainder of this term?
No, they're closed until further notice. They're closed until further notice. As Professor Robertson has indicated, that we may have, given the uncertainty of what may happen. We don't want to say for the rest of the term, because we may have an explosion within hours, within days, within a couple of weeks, or it may just, as he said, settle back down and continue in a state of uncertainty. Clearly, if we have an explosive eruption and you're talking about a period of evacuation lasting up to about 4 months, well, obviously at the appropriate time, when that happens, we'll have to speak in terms of when it is likely that school will return for face-to-face classes. In the meantime, we will continue to do teaching and learning by distance. And that's why all the device is important. Wherever you are, you're going to have your device, and we can teach and we can learn. I know that practical adjustments will have to be made, but it's not beyond human ingenuity to make those adjustments. Those are details which the relevant persons who are involved in the ministry, the teachers themselves, they will work those out.
Do you have a time period as to when the other devices would be available?
I'm told less than 2 weeks' time. But we must remember that all the primary schools, grade 6, all the secondary schools in all forms, the community college, and all the teachers, and grade 5s in the rural areas, grade 5 in the outside of Kingston, because we didn't have enough to cover everybody. So they dealt with the areas west of Kingston and east of Kingston. So the grade 5s in the Kingston area will get, and grade 4 down will also get from this new lot coming. That's what I've been advised.
One question touching on the issue of agriculture and livestock. If an evacuation order is given, most people have livestock and animals, and they're also concerned about that. What is in place to deal with this?
I've been advised that there is, I don't know how much the process has been done, and Michelle may know, Samoto here, I don't know if you can speak to it, in respect of tracking the livestock. And we have to bear in mind that the advice has been that if it doesn't make sense to keep them tethered, to keep them tied, you'll have to let them go. But it's easier if you have them tagged in some way to recover them after the 90%. So please come and indicate. Did you say 90% are tagged? Yes. Well, that's excellent news. So we have to complete the other 10%. They're tagged electronically?
No, it's a tag that's on that has a recorded system.
Okay.
But I just want to indicate that there are basically 4 demarcated phases. Phase 1, which is basically completed, addresses the issue of the protection of private assets in agriculture and also the public assets. So when we speak about the private assets, we are speaking about the animals, and coincidentally, yesterday we exported 70 heads of cattle to Grenada, and a lot of these came from the red zone. So phase 1 is basically almost completed, which has to do with the protection of the assets from the private sector and the public sector. So just to indicate some of the work done from the government standpoint for the government's assets. As we speak, some of the equipment at the tissue culture lab in Orange Hill, for example, is already being moved to Mesopotamia, where we have other stations. So we are moving out a lot of the government assets for agriculture from the red zone. And this will be completed by Friday. Now, phase 2 has to address the issue of food security, because we have to ensure that there is affordable food, that persons will have access to food, and this is should we go into the explosive phase. So phase 1 is the protection of assets. Phase 2 has to address the issue with food security. And then we have to address the issue, phase 3, about the recovery, because we produce a significant percentage of the food that we consume locally. And any analysis will reveal that there would be a devastating impact from the ash and other material on the agriculture sector. And persons, we have this mantra that life and living has to continue as best as possible. So then we have that phase that we will go into the recovery. But as it pertains to the animals, we have also identified 2 major areas where persons will be, the transportation system from the state will be in place to take the animals there. For example, one area on the windward side is Mikey Dabrio, where he has an area there, and I'm advised by the vet division that we will put in place the water tanks, and that's why it's very important to have the tagging so that you could know where your animals are. As it pertains to persons who are into the production of bees, agriculture, I'm aware that they will be taking them down to a site at where we had the old airport at Orange. So a lot of work has been done, and all of this is in preparation.
A query has come in. A query has come in from electronically. It's come in here by a WhatsApp message. What is in place, or what is the level of the conversation concerning the police, medical, and other first responders as they serve us? Are things in place for the care and well-being of their families? It's a very, very good question. And individual families have been making arrangements, but also their support systems. And this is one of the issues which we will further discuss. They've already been discussed, but when we do a final, when we do our NEMO council meeting today, I just want to say that I will, after the NEMO meeting, I will make contact with the Governor General, make contact with the leader of the opposition. And I know Sinclair Leacock, who has worked very much in Lassafray when he was a cadet. When he was a cadet, I will also talk to him, because I think he has indicated to me before that he would like very much to be involved, and we welcome his involvement. And of course, at this period in time, the churches have a very important role to play in providing spiritual support for our people, and the media have a very important role to be responsible, provide accurate information, and for us to not get involved in hysteria or fake news to complicate the management of an exercise which is already a very challenging one, and which will bring great pain and suffering to lots of our people and to the whole country. And we are having this prospect of an imminent eruption at a time when we have had over 1 year of real economic battering. And this is not going to make it any easier, but we will make all the adjustments that we have to make in order for us to keep all our services going if the worst comes to the worst. And I'm confident that we'll be able to hold things together. Let us work together, John.
We have time for the last question.
Yes.
CMO. Oh, that's not the last. Okay. Well, my last question for the CMO. And we've heard from the PM that in the event the volcano goes explosive, that some persons may be evacuated overseas and they will have to be vaccinated. What is the procedure for those who are in St. Vincent who will have to go into camps? What is in place to minimize, so to speak, spread of COVID within these camps? What would be the procedure?
So, as you know, as the question, as you know, we are currently involved in our vaccination program. It's ongoing. And as I said earlier, we will advise everyone who has not yet had a vaccine and they're eligible, so that's everybody over 18 years, that they should be vaccinated. Start the process now. If you wait until, so as I also said, you get vaccinated now, you initially have some immunity, then you have your second dose, which the AstraZeneca is advised to be around 10 weeks to 12 weeks after. However, it can be as short as 4 weeks, so that you will have your second dose in 4 weeks' time. But where we are now, that is why it's extremely important that those who have not yet received their vaccine will get it now to afford yourself the maximum possibility of immunity in the event you have to go to a shelter or if you have to go overseas. As Prime Minister said, is in communication with some of our friends nearby. Those places have robust COVID vaccination programs now. And it would be that they would expect that anybody coming in should be vaccinated. And they would, I assume, be most welcoming of those who had their vaccination a longer time than somebody walking on a plane and having had the vaccine the day before, where you would still need the at-risk, increased risk for at least another couple of weeks. So, in answering your question, all of the clinics are open, all of the clinics have vaccines. Right now, we are in the Newell bus terminal, I think, today. Anybody can walk in and have their vaccine. Start your protection from that.
but I think I was trying to be specific in that, let's say, God forbid, that we have an explosion tonight. Persons don't have the time to be vaccinated.
Right.
What happens?
What happens? Okay, so you go to a shelter. You tell them at the shelter, what we have in place is that we will be doing rapid antigen testing as we come in, because we need to find out as quickly as possible what is happening there. Persons are going to be in shelters in families, and so, as you said tonight, it's going to be difficult to line people up and be with the rapid antigen, even with the 20-minute process. So it will be that you go into the shelter, you maintain your family, you do either your testing to see if persons have COVID. If we find anyone who is positive for coronavirus, we will then move you to isolation shelter, and the persons around you who will be your contacts will also be moved to a quarantine shelter. So that is what will be in place then. You know, we don't want to have to go there because immediately you are exposing everybody else in that process. If you are vaccinated and you come into the shelter, it is an entirely different process. So thanks to
And the protocols.
right, and protocols. So, yeah.
Dr. Vincent, on the issue of water, if we have an explosive eruption, obviously our water system would be compromised. What is in place for
Yes.
going forward?
The CWSA has given an indication about if there is, you probably heard their releases, that they will, as soon as practicable after there's an explosion, they will lock off the water supply, but they will have water transported to various places. It's a Herculean task. It's not an easy one. And of course, for drinking water and the like, we have to get lots and lots of bottled water. You know, so those are some of the supplies. It's Michelle has a list of their supplies which will be required for 1 week. I mean, it's horrendous. But you're talking about, she's looking at 16,000 people. Keep them, feed them, do these things. It's a big exercise. Just think of it. But we want to make persons as comfortable as they possibly can, as large numbers as we can make. And it's not going to be like your home. Clearly, I know that some of the conditions which were endured in 1979, we got through them. Persons are going to say, well, we want some conditions which are somewhat improved. And this is what we have been trying to do. As you imagine, it's a very costly exercise in circumstances where the economy has taken a battering and resources are stretched. But we will do everything if it was happens to keep our people in a reasonable condition. And for the rest of the economy and society in the green zone, and I suspect in portions of the orange zone, depending on the extent of the explosion and its duration, show that they will continue with economic activity and so on. It's look, the last time was 1979. And so it means, therefore, that persons who are 50 years of age, would have been very young when you had this the last time. The question has come in from Louis. How would persons travel abroad Do they need travel documents, or would this requirement be due to the circumstances? Well, most persons I would think have travel documents. For those who don't have, we can get emergency travel documents and we can make the relevant arrangements. Persons, in the case of going to the OCS countries, they have an ID card and they can travel on that. Whether Barbados will allow us to travel on an ID card, that is something I can talk about here. So it's not so problematic, so Louis, but I'm very glad that you're listening. The drums downstairs, you filling them up? My brother? How does your lady with that? Yes, and so what they say that more detailed plans will come from agriculture, and of course from all the various segments. This really this briefing is for us to have what Professor Robinson says, and I think Richie is still there with us.
Yes,
all right, and for the declaration to be made, for you to hear from Nemo, and get from the commissioner, from the Simone, and to get the basic background from Saboto and so on, and you will see that we have this morning. I was briefed about the problem, and here we are today. We can provide you with these very details to the extent to which we have been doing work. Richie, did I say anything out of order which you need to correct from a scientific standpoint? Have I been faithful? Have I been faithful to your advice?
Well, I haven't seen anything incorrect scientifically. I think I did scientifically.
Yes. And I haven't said anything to contradict that.
I'm just going to leave it
Spoken as a true scientist. Thank you very much, Richie. And I want to thank the media, and I want to thank the people of St. Vincent and Grenadines for listening. I'm sure that this will be replayed, and we will get this out across St. Vincent and Grenadines, and across the region and the world for persons to understand what we're doing. It's nothing like that. Thank you very much. We have to go off to our meeting in a few minutes' time. So, time to chair the NEMO Management Council. Thank you.
PM.
Our community is in the red zone from over the river, which we call from Orange Hill up to Fancy. Today we did an exercise in terms of our preparation and tests in terms of evacuation of any volcanic eruption.
This assimilation exercise is very important in seeing the readiness. You know, I like how it was done. You were called out, not prepared. So what you actually had here today it was really spontaneous reaction rather than something that was planned or choreographed.
What we are doing is to help sensitize our community on the role that we have to play in terms of any disaster.
I'm from the community of Point. My community is relatively small. We are about 200 persons if we have to evacuate. However, our group has already prepared our evacuation plan. We have a response team. Everybody knows what their role is. If we have to evacuate, I think we will be okay.
The bits and pieces that I didn't know about, I think I gained it. So yeah, I'm ready. My family, we are prepared as well. So yeah, we're good to go.
we know that at any point in time the Lasso volcano could move into an explosive eruption. Orange Hill will be ready.